Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video, and in this one we're going to be painting Rolly the pony. It's the first horse or pony that I've done in acrylic for a long time because people generally just don't ask for them. So I have been looking forward to doing this one for my channel because I know most other acrylic ones are dogs with the odd cat one. So it's nice to get something a little bit different. So this one's A5 size, which is like half size of A4. It's approximately 8x6 but not exact. You can see that I've just put the background in already, and then I've just transferred the outline at pony on. And I started off just painting in the main facial features like eyes and nostrils and what have you with a black detail brush, and then I'm just going to basically block in the general colour of it all at head and neck. As per usual, all supplies I'm using will be listed in the description. And you'll see that I'm just building up colour on this head and neck just to get a nice base to start refining things and working a little bit more on tonal values and highlights and shadows. I was able to get the reference photos myself for this one, and there was some nice backlighting going on, so I had a chance to really get stuck into the lovely highlights on his mane and on the front of his muzzle as well. So once the main basic colours have been added in for a base, I just start to add a little bit more definition in places, getting ready for detail layer. And these small paintings actually take longer to do in relation to the size than larger ones, because all your details are tiny and it's more painstaking to do. It's a lot more difficult to get your tiny little details. When you're working bigger, your tiny little details are also going to be bigger, so everything's just easier to paint. But these tiny ones, they are quite painstaking and they do take longer in relation to the size than bigger ones do. You'll probably notice that the painting's on an angle compared to the reference photo, so it looks a little bit different. And I just got to apologise about that because due to lack of space, I've just not been able to figure out a way that I can set the camera up so that it's looking at the paintings straight on, so it's always looking at them from one side. It'd be lovely to have one of these big studios that you see other artists painting in, but obviously I don't have one of them, so I've just got to make do with a little tiny shoebox that I am painting in at one end of a room. I started adding the detail where all your highlights are, so basically the mane, the forelock, and the top at muzzle down to nose where it's catching that sunlight. And I was really able to push them highlights against the darker background that I've painted in to make it pop better. You'll notice on ears the highlights are just round the actual edges of them, and then the fronts of ears where you've got the hole and then the fur around it, that's in shadow, so they're a lot darker. And I was careful to keep the forelock just slightly darker than the highlight around the nearest ear, so that that nearest ear does still stand out against that forelock. Also notice the slight blue tones at side at muzzle there, just before the actual nose, where you've got some white hairs and white markings. Now on top it's bright white with the sun shining on it, but where it's in shadow it will have some blue tones, and this really helps it to look like actual white fur, because when you get white objects in sunlight, the shadowed part of them often does have a blue tint to it. It's usually not just grey or something like neutral like that. It might be yellowy tones if it's reflecting some warm light off something else, or green if it's reflecting off grass or something like that. But it's rarely just grey, so adding some different colours into shadows, and quite often it's complementary colours as well, the way it works, just makes it look more authentic. And sometimes just pushing these reflective colours just that little bit compared to your reference photo can just make it look more attractive. And this is often why people think that the artwork can look better than the actual photo. It's not all about just copying like a slave. Working on the hair texture on this pony were quite a challenge at this size because it were almost at point of doing like pointillism, especially around eye when the hairs are actually really tiny and you're just basically just doing points. So using a brush that's got a very small point or a tiny detail brush like what I'm using here. And you can see that the base colour that I painted on before is on the darker side, so it would match the darkest tones that you can see. And then when I add the hair texture, I work up in tone from that, and then I finish off on the lightest tones, which is your final highlights. And I'll mention, like I always do, to always make sure that you pay attention to what direction the hairs are actually growing in as well. Don't completely cover up the darker underpainting that you've applied previously. Leave some of it showing through, and where you want the areas to be paler in colour, because you'll notice it's not just uniform colour all over this horse. You can see around the edge of the cheekbone and other areas it is lighter coloured, and all you need to do is just do a higher concentration of the lighter coloured hairs in them situations, as well as adding some hairs that are lighter in colour. And then in areas where it's a little bit darker, just do a lower concentration of hairs, and don't do any hairs that are too light either, just keep them a little bit on the darker side. When I got to this part of his neck, there were some areas where I sort of had to make things up, because as you can see in reference photo, she was using his head collar around his neck in order to restrain him, so there's quite a little bit of his neck covered up in some areas because of that. So I had to just sort of try and make things up underneath it, because there weren't any reference photos of him where it weren't there, so I couldn't look at another photo in order to get that information, so I just had to sort of wing it a little bit just from general knowledge. And it's probably a good thing that it weren't covering this part at chest that I'm on here, because there's lots of weird changes in the air direction in this area, so it would have been quite difficult to make that up if it were covered up by something else. So that's something to bear in mind about getting reference images, is to make sure that if anywhere is covered up by something like basically like this, in case of dogs it's often harnesses and things like that that cover the chests up, and in horses it can be bridles and head collars and rugs and all that kind of thing. So it's just worth getting extra reference photos so that you can look at these areas to see how things are going on underneath. So just a few final touches to add, and then I'm done with this, and I hope you've enjoyed watching it. If there's any particular areas of it that you'd like me to do another more in-depth tutorial on, just let me know and I'll see about doing that for you. So I'll leave you with a few final result photos, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!